Alright, what's up guys, welcome back to another Pokemon X and Y Wi-Fi battle. This one is actually going to be another battle against Stu, or his YouTube name, which is in the title of the video. Again, I don't know if it has an official pronunciation. Anyways guys, let's get into the match. Alright, so I'm going to be leading off with my Gliscor, or my Ferrothorn, as he leads off with his not Frogadier, whatever it is. I can't remember what it's called. Greninja, that's what it's called. Anyways, he's gonna U-turn out of here right away, as I'm going to not set up. I think I go for the Power Whip right here, I could be wrong. But he gets hit by the Iron Barbs and the Rocky Helmet, of course, because he hit me with the physical move. That ends up doing a very nice amount of damage. He, of course, switches out because of U-turn. He goes into his Gengar right here, which isn't the greatest thing, but the Power Whip is still going to do quite a bit, despite being resisted, because Gengar has no defenses. It does slightly over half. I'm going to switch out into my Togekiss, because my thought process right here wasn't very good. I was thinking I can take a Shadow Ball or a Focus Blast or whatever. I never really considered that he'd Mega Evolve and then hit me with the Poison type move. Yeah. No. So this turn, so he sets up the Substitute. Then the next turn he goes for the Sludge Bomb. I, of course, can't switch out since Mega Gengar has, has Shadow Tag. And right here I go for the Air Slash and miss, which is so great. I definitely could have broken his sub if it weren't for missing the Shadow, or if it weren't for missing the Air Slash. But it's not a huge deal. So right here he's going to take out Cupcake, and I'm going to have to switch out in my Goodrow. By the way, these ones still don't have nicknames, just because I haven't thought of good nicknames for them yet, and because I haven't really had time to nickname them for that matter. I'm going to switch into my Goodrow, because I know it can take any hit he wants to throw at me. I go for the Dragon Pulse, because I know it's going to break the sub, because Gengar, again, has 0 defenses. And like I said, I'm going to take down a sub with that. So right here he's going to switch out because he don't want to risk losing his Mega Gengar. And he's going to go out into his own Goodra. So it's a Goodra fight. Ah! Not quite, though, because I'm going to go for the Dragon Pulse, and it's going to do, like, an 8th. So, of course, I'm going to switch out. The reason why I switched out here rather than just having a Dragon Pulse fight is because I knew that, I'm almost positive he's carrying the Assault Vest on his, and I can't do that because I carry Rest on mine. But, yeah, that's why. So right here, I switch into my Breloom because I know that I'm faster than this thing, so I can put it to sleep. And I can take any hit because Breloom has a little bit of bulk. Not very much, but a little bit. So, he's going to switch out of his Goodra, because he didn't want that thing to die from a Mach Punch or whatever I want to throw at this thing. He's going to switch into his Talonflame, which is a very nice switch, actually. I go for the Power Up Punch, and it's going to end up doing about like a 4th, maybe a 5th, I can't quite tell. And I'm going to get my attack raised and switch out, because I do not want to take a Brave Bird from this thing. I switch into my Politoed, because I know that, I'm running a physical Politoed, so I know that I can take even a Brave Bird from this thing, so it doesn't really matter what he goes for. He ends up going for the Sword Stance, so if I had stayed in and gone for another Power-Up Punch and then a Mach Punch, I might have killed him. Actually, no, because he has Gale Wings. I forget that I make that mistake later on. He's going to switch out, predicting the Water move, of course, because I'm a Politoed. And he's going to switch out into his Greninja as I go for the Scald on it, and it does a ridiculous amount of damage. It actually gets a crit, that's why I forgot about that. He's going to go for the Dark Pulse and get Protean, so he turns into a Dark type, which isn't the greatest thing for him. I mean, it doesn't really matter anymore, but last turn it would have mattered, because then he wouldn't have gotten, whatever. Don't know what I'm trying to say here. So, he's going to go for Dark Pulse, then flinch me, go for another one, and then he brings me down to my Citrus Berry. The only reason I run a Citrus Berry on this thing is from a lack of items, to be perfectly honest. So, the Scalda is actually going to take him out from there, especially since he's a Dark type now, so he doesn't resist it. Now he's going to switch back into his Gengar, and I of course can't switch out here because he's a Gengar. I'm not quite sure why he doesn't carry the Thunderbolt. I mean, I guess it's because he uses Dazzling Gleam instead of Thunderbolt, but still. He's going to go for the Shadow Ball, and because Politoed has a ridiculous amount of special defense, he's going to live it with just a little bit of HP, and the rain's going to stop. So he's going to switch back into his Talonflame. Right here I stayed in and went for the Scald, just because I knew that if he went for a Swords Dance, there would be a very high chance of me killing him, because Talonflame is not bulky at all. So I'm going to go into Heliolisk, because I'm very sure that I'm going to outspeed this thing. And there's no way he'd go for a Brave Bird on it. He ends up switching out into Donphan. I forgot that he had a Donphan on his team, to be perfectly honest. I went for the Volt Switch here because the rain isn't up, so Thunder has a pretty good chance of missing. Of course, right here I'm going to switch out because I don't want my thing to die, my Heliolisk. So I'm going to switch into my Ferrothorn, and he's going to double switch into his Talonflame. And right here, I'm just gonna stay in and let him kill me off with a Brave Bird, because he's gonna take a lot of recoil and a lot of damage from the Rocky Helmet and Iron Barbs. So he takes about a fourth from the Rocky Helmet and Iron Barbs, and then the Brave Bird or not the Brave Bird, the Flare Blitz is almost gonna knock him out from there. Yeah, almost gonna knock him out. So right here, I'm gonna switch into my Breloom. This was one of the worst plays I've made so far. I forget that this thing has Gale Wings, and I go for the Mach Punch because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna outspeed because of priority. I was wrong. So, of course, he's gonna knock me out with that Brave Bird, and then I'm down a Pokemon. But he does get killed from the Brave Bird, which was nice, from the recoil of the Brave Bird, which was nice. He's going to switch into his Mamoswine, and I'm going to switch into my Goodra. So right here I got kind of outplayed. And again, I make another mistake here, because I assume that he has the Focus Sash, but he doesn't run the Focus Sash. He actually runs the Life Orb on this thing, as you'll see in a second. But it's not like I could have switched out that turn anyways, because I didn't know the Icicle Crash was going to miss. So he's going to go for it, and of course it's going to knock me out, because Goodra doesn't have that much defense. It just has a lot of special defense. So, seeing as Heliolisk is my last Pokemon, I'm going to switch into him, and gotta wait for it to catch up. Okay, so I know that I'm going to outspeed this thing, and I do carry the Surf on Heliolisk, so it wasn't a big deal. He goes for the Ice Shard here. I guess to just get off last bit of damage on me. It really wouldn't have mattered if he didn't go for that. So I go for the Surf, and I'm going to knock out his Mamoswine, which was not really a big threat to me anyways, because considering it wasn't carrying the Focus Sash, I think a Surf would have knocked it out from full health anyways, but who knows. Anyways, he switches into his Donphan right here, and I'm praying that he doesn't have the Sturdy, but he does. So, that's going to be the end of the match, guys. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like button, if I could talk. Leave a like down below, as well as don't forget to check out my Twitter, because that's where I'm going to update you guys on when I'm recording, or not recording, but when I'm taking battles and whatever. So, hope you enjoyed. See you guys next time. Bye.